Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ask Me Anything live call on Friday. As you know, every Friday we are tackling a lot of questions about SEO. Today we're going to focus on local business SEO, SEO's daily life, my best productivity hack I've found over the years, and virtual team building and anything that might come up through the call. My name is Gert. I'm the founder of SEOleverage.com. If you would like to know more about us, check us out in Facebook or follow me on Instagram. I'm usually trying to focus on SEO tips and tips on how you can grow your business with search marketing, essentially. One of the best things we've created, I believe, is our top 10 guide. If you want to go to our website, SEOleverage.com/top10tips, and you can download it for free there. Let's jump directly into the first question. The first question I got was, what's an SEO's typical day? So if you're in SEO, basically you're always trying to be on top of what's happening essentially with Google especially, and then the search marketing space, but you also will focus on constant testing new things, testing how Google reacts to certain changes. We are doing ongoing consulting work with clients on how they can improve their site following our Erica framework. We usually after coffee, of course, I need coffee to function properly, but after coffee, I'm going to check our clients' rankings, check what has worked from what we did the days and weeks before, what did not work, where might we need additional tweaking. And then Google is always changing. We're just going through right now a phase where Google says they didn't do any major update. The SEO community is seeing a lot of change happening. So we need to figure out what Google really wants. Where's Google heading to? So what we want to avoid for our clients is really getting into a position where we are surprised by a change, where Google just adjusted something in a way we didn't expect it, because then their rankings are going to drop. We had a client losing 70% from one day to the next, basically due to an update Google did, where Google basically just adjusted what they expect users to see on search. But this doesn't happen overnight. If this client had been on top of their SEO game over time, they would have seen those changes. They would have seen that Google preferred faster sites. They would have seen that Google prefers sites that get to the point right away without scrolling. They would have seen that sites with a huge slider on top are not ranking very well anymore and are falling in rankings. So by the time you stay on top of your SEO game, or you have at least someone externally staying on top of your SEO game, you're in a much safer position. Nothing is guaranteed with SEO and Google, but definitely you want to be ahead of the curve. And typically SEO's days, after the ranking checkings and check what works, what doesn't work, usually involves a lot of client calls. We are in very close touch with our clients. We have a help desk where we answer their questions. We do at least a couple of calls with clients to go through what they have been working on, what they can do better, what they can focus on in their content creation. We have got machine learning tools where we basically prepare content briefings and have clients follow a clear structure that's based on what's ranking on Google on the first page in a given time. So it's a lot of analysis, a lot of client calls, a lot of talking in my position. And then I've got an awesome team around me that works on clients, content creation as well, design, texts, video creation. We perform analysis, audits all the time, and try to come up with the best solution possible for each client's situation. So we just have a site with, I think, 700 pages, where clients were focusing on content creation only, but not in a way that Google really picked it up. So for example, we point out to clients, look, you need to structure content differently, you need to structure your articles in a different way. And this way, clients usually get results. So this is part of our typical day should be in the usual case that clients are getting results. Clients thank us for our support. Clients present their results to us. And it's very, very often the credits really go to clients because we can give them instructions, give them guidelines, and then they need to execute on them. Most of our clients do their content creation themselves. We do content creation for a few clients. Many do it themselves or have their team or their VA focus on the content creation or their content writer. As long as the quality is okay, that's fine with us. And we can definitely focus, when we focus on the analysis, the credits go to them, so they create the content. But what we like to do is revise this content with the tools we have in place. And for this reason, we are in constant touch. They might send us a URL. Can you check this out? We give them our feedback based on our analysis on what they can do better. And this way, I just published an article about MailChimp, for example. It's ranking very well within days or weeks. In this case, we could do within days, actually, just because the analysis was done in a thorough way. Very often, we might create content briefings for agencies as well. So agencies who want to create articles based on a previous SEO analysis, so that articles get ranked right away in a very good position because they just follow what Google wants to rank in a given term. Yeah, that's basically an SEO's typical day. A lot of research, a lot of tools, a lot of ranking analysis, a lot of audits, and a lot of talking with clients on video calls, on Help Scout, for example, what we use for help as a help desk solution, and sometimes in-person meetings. The next question we got was the #1 productivity hack. It's a good one because I really like productivity hacks. I've been spending a lot of time investigating on how I can make my day as productive as possible in order to cover as much work as possible. The #1 productivity hack is a little bit difficult. It would be a few of them. I'm going to give 2 pieces of advice here, I would say. What was working for me doesn't necessarily need to work for you. That's also important. But I do think it makes sense to explain that. For example, I kicked task lists completely out of my way because I'm really a list-focused person, right? So whatever I need to do usually would go on a list. I've got a packing list when I'm going to travel to Sydney in a couple of weeks, for example. I've got a packing list. I know what I need to put there. I might even have a list in a shopping list, obviously, etc. But I just found that after a few years, it took me a while, after a few years, I just found the task list didn't work for me in business because I would just not estimate the necessary time to work on those tasks in an appropriate way. So what I did was ditched completely the task list and focus on Google Calendar, where I exactly reserve the time slot for each task that I think is necessary. If I can't manage to finish the task in this time, I need to reschedule another time slot to finish it. So what this does for me personally is that it forces me to be realistic about what I can do and also have a clear guideline on what I'm going to do every single day. So this doesn't mean I don't switch priorities depending on urgencies. If there's a client who just dropped in rankings, we obviously need to take care about this first. But I do have a clear guideline on how my day is going to look like. And I do revise my calendar on Saturday and Sunday for the next week to readjust, put similar things together because I usually work better in batches. So if I have AdWords revisions to be done, I try to do them all on the same day if they are weekly. If there is content analysis to be done, I try to compress this again as well, because this would be another productivity hack. Try to put similar things together and things you need to do in a similar context. So there are phone calls to make, try to compress them. If you have consulting calls to make, try to compress them into a similar spot, because you will be in a state of mind where you function much better than if you're tackling 25 different things every single day. Another productivity, it's not a hack, it's just a piece of advice, is that productivity only brings you so far, right? What I had to experience in the last years, and thankfully it brought me a lot further, is that you need to leverage your team as soon as possible. I I'm happy to have one of the best teams I could ever imagine, people who are very engaged with the company, very engaged with the brand, very engaged with the ideas I have for this business, and very productive and proactive in making suggestions on how to bring this brand forward. But you absolutely need help. So there, nothing really big, nothing very good has ever been done by one person alone. And once you realize what this really means, it absolutely brings you forward. So once I had people in place covering areas where I'm not good at, or things I can't cover because I only have a limited time available, this was when the business really started to thrive and bring better results, better outcomes for our clients. So we heavily invest right now in training. We spend a lot of time training every team member in SEO. We have a 1-month program where we put them through everything they need to be aware of in SEO, just to have the foundation, because then it's really experience what's going to bring them ahead. We definitely need want to create some sort of team culture, and the team is probably the best productivity hack. You can work on your own productivity, and everybody functions here in a different way. In different time zones, you have more productive hours. My productive hours are usually in the morning hours. But then you really need a team and have the processes in place so that this team knows exactly what you want them to do, what's the desired outcome. And then you need to get into a habit of leveraging their abilities and leveraging their proactive suggestions for your brand's growth. Yesterday I got approached by a local gym, which was interesting. I have been doing quite a bit of work in the fitness marketing space. So the idea was really to how to position the gym locally. Let me just say hi to a few people here on the call. That's great you're here, Jürgen, Bernini, Carol, Rachel, great you're here. The local gym SEO aspects are a bit different from an international campaign, for example. You can imagine a gym usually has a radius of about 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers around them. Maybe it could be 5 if it's a very outstanding offer or something that's not too common. But basically, you want to target people that already know where you are, probably that already have seen your billboard, your logo at some places. They probably have you on their radar in case they want to join your gym or change to another gym. And what's basically happening here is that you need to focus on SEO from a very localized level. What does this mean? This means that Google needs local hints on why this is a relevant business for a certain area. How can we achieve this? This is achieved, for example, by a local telephone number, your address, obviously, maps, Google Maps integration on your website. Everything that comes into mind when thinking locally can be important. Imagine you give a talk, you're a speaker at a school event from a local school, and you talk about fitness or health or whatever it could be relevant for your niche. Have this school link to you, have this school mention you on their website, have this school be there, and maybe even have a video on YouTube about your presentation there. Maybe you can reach out to your local town hall and publish an article for local businesses about your niche or about health and the working environment. So if you're a local gym, whatever comes into mind from a local perspective could be interesting. Another thing, for example, is collaboration with local businesses. So you might have a collaboration with a local drugstore or pharmacy, and maybe they can give you products you sell in your business. They can talk about it in their social networks, on their blog, on their website, etc. You could have combinations with childcare center where people can maybe have their children taken care of while they go to the gym. Whatever you can do in terms of collaboration is going to help not only your business and your business growth, but also on a local level, as long as you make sure that your collaborations are being talked about on the internet. In terms of local SEO, there are a few other things. You definitely want to have your Google My Business listing. This is a free listing. You just upload your data, your opening hours, your images, your logo, etc. there. And it's like a panel that comes up in search when someone searches for your brand. And also you might come up in what we call a local pack, which is the pack of 3 local results usually, or sometimes I think it's 5, with a map and their reviews, etc. Reviews is a very important point. Google needs reviews, authentic reviews from people that really have been in your space. Just think of the fact that Google very often knows where we are based on the tracking of mobile phones. So don't ask your friends from overseas to give you advice on, or give you a review, because Google might know they are not as relevant as someone who really enters your gym frequently every week. For local gyms, what else could we have there? There are different things within Google My Business you can leverage. For example, you can leverage the question and answer section. You can leverage the Google Posts, where you post content. And every content I would try to kind of link to local terminology, places, towns, villages that are in your local area geographically, because then Google is going to pick up over time the relations and going to have a great and good idea on the location of your business, and on the local relevance it really has. And then you can also see if there are any influencers in your zone. So for example, especially in the fitness space, there are so many people having a great following on Instagram, for example. And if you have such an influencer who is locally in your area, definitely leverage their audience and make sure they also give you their credits, give you their recommendation if you can collaborate with them. And it would be another point in your favor. And then there is, in terms of, in more technical terms, on your website, there is a huge amount of things you can do. Especially, I would like to point out the structured data, which is basically a code your developer, your webmaster might be able to add, or sometimes with some WordPress plugins. If you're a WordPress savvy, you can do this yourself. And you can give structured information about exactly where your business is, that it is a local business, that it is in the fitness space, for example. So all these things can help you to rank high on local search. The next question we had got was on team building. I already talked about it a little bit on the productivity hack question. We have one of the best teams on this planet. I'm absolutely sure about it, because everybody is so engaged with our brand and everybody wants to see this grow. Team building for us means we have 3 people here in the office, and the rest is a virtual team distributed among different countries of the world. What we do have is a common communication tool, which is Slack. If you don't know it, check it out, slack.com, definitely worth a try. And what this did for us is 2 things. First, we completely got rid of internal email. There is no need to have internal email for whatever reason. We just use Slack, and Slack is basically a chat solution that allows you also to combine, to create different channels depending on different topics. So if there is a client where multiple people work on their SEO campaign, for example, we create a channel for this client, and everybody who's on this campaign is going to be added to this channel. And everybody who is on this channel is going to see what is being talked about relative to this project. We also, for example, have a channel where everybody reports on what they're going to do this day, and when they end their day, they report on what they have been achieving. This also keeps everybody accountable for what they are doing, gives me an idea on what they are working on in case I need to adjust their priorities. And Slack really, as a communication tool, is giving us a lot of leverage for team building and for creating some sort of team culture here or company culture, even on a virtual level. We do have daily calls. So right now we are training quite a few people, and we do have daily calls with everybody on Zoom, where we talk about what's going on, where are the issues, what are the new projects, what are new clients we got, what feedback do we get from clients. I usually make a point in sharing every feedback we get, positive and negative, from clients, so everybody can improve, and also try to share what I'm up to, what's going to come up in the next weeks and months, so everybody can, in their space, in their work, make sure they do what's possible to focus on the common business goals. I think team building is a lot for us. Team building is a lot about training. Team building is a lot about communication for us. Team building is a lot about being in constant touch, even if you are located in different spaces and on different time zones. But my main advice is really ongoing communication and look for the commitment from their part as soon as possible. So I try to involve everybody in decision making, in content creation, in clients analysis, etc. Most team members are also active on the help desk, answering questions, see what questions come in. We can leverage those questions again for Ask Me Anything sessions or for content creation, etc. So everything goes together, but the main aspect is really communication, and having this touch point every day. Having a virtual team, or at least partly virtual team, is very important to us, because it gives us like this moment you might have in an office where you meet other people and at the coffee machine in the kitchen or something like that, where you exchange a couple of words and at least have this personal touch point. And it's not only cold virtual without any human interaction. Just checking, I think we don't have any further questions today. Yeah, let me just thank you for your time. Great to have a few people on this call already. It's the second Ask Me Anything call we have today. If you have any questions, direct them to support@seoleverage.com or send me a direct message on this platform where you see this. We also record this, and it's going to be available afterwards if you want to listen to it again. Definitely make a point in following us on social media if you don't do this right now. And be sure that every Friday at 10 a.m. Central European Time, 8 p.m. in Sydney, we're going to do these sessions, because there are just so many questions that come up when talking to our clients, when analyzing websites, when getting from on the help desk and answering questions. We collect them, we present solutions here, and I'm also happy to answer any question here on the call live if you want to direct them here. Thank you very much. Have a great day and a great weekend. Bye.